Today I will be comparing Karl and Mckenna's gardens to see which garden has the larger area and how much larger it is. I will be using an area model and matching up to determine which one is greater. So we're looking at Karl versus Mckenna's vegetable gardens. Woo. So first, Karl's garden is 20 feet by 35 feet. And Mckenna's garden is 25 feet by 30 feet. So I will draw an area model of their gardens to determine the difference. So I'm going to draw roughly 35 feet by 20 feet. 20 feet. Rectangular garden. And an easy way to determine the area is to break up the side lengths into more manageable, friendlier numbers. So we can break 35 feet up into 30 feet and 5 feet. So here's 5 feet, and here's 30 feet. And we can leave 20 feet, I think, as is. So first we need to find the area of the bigger rectangle. To do that, we need to multiply 30 times 20. So I can figure that out because I know that 30 times 10 equals 300. So since 20 is double 10, 30 times 20 must be double 300. So I know that 30 times 20 must equal 600. So I know our bigger rectangle is 600 feet squared. Now to find the smaller rectangle, I just need to find what 20 times 5 is. So again, I can use the same trick. I know that 5 times 10 equals 50. So since 20 is double 10, I can just double 50. So 5 times 20 must equal 100 feet squared. Now let's move over to Mckenna's garden. I'm going to draw a similar rectangle, but this time it's going to be 25 feet tall by 30 feet wide. So we got 30 feet and we got 25 feet. So this time I'm going to break up the 25 foot side. So we can break that into 20 and 5. So there's 5 feet and there's 10 feet. Oh, 20 feet. We'll leave the 30 how it is. So we already know that 30 times 20 is 600 feet, as we already did from over here. So we can do 600 feet squared. We already know our big rectangle. Now we just need to determine what 30 times 5 is. So since we already did 5 times 20, we only need to add 50 more. So since I know that 5 times 20 equals 100, and that's 2 groups of 10, and 30 is 3 groups of 10, I just need to add one more 50 to be 3 groups of 10. So that's 150. So I know this smaller rectangle is 150 feet squared. So without even determining their area, we can use a method of crossing out. So as you can see, both Karl and Mckenna's gardens have a larger rectangle of 600 feet squared as their area. So since we know they both have that, I'm going to cross them out. We don't need to worry about that, because that's something that they have in common. So next, we're looking at Karl's garden has 100 feet squared. And we can see that McKenna's garden has 150 feet squared. So if we think of her 150 feet and cut it off at about where we think 100 would be, we can cross both of those out. So now everything has been gotten rid of on Karl's garden, and what we have left is 50 feet squared for McKenna's garden. So as you can see, we know McKenna's garden has a greater area, and it is greater by the amount of 50 feet squared.